بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أعزائي الطلاب في الصف 11 وفي جميع المراحل، أهلا بكم في حلقة جديدة ومتجددة من درس على الهواء. بإذن الله سنكون مع الحلقة الختامية لمرحلة الصف 11 من دروس اللغة الإنجليزية المادة الأساسية. سنتناول اليوم the final exam إن شاء الله. We will talk about the writing skills or the writing types that we have in the exam paper. We will talk about emails, letters, and informative text. For today's lesson inshallah, the lesson will include some different contents. We will introduce some exam writing activities. We will revise some informative text and will introduce the letter and email text. We will have some practical tasks with both activities or with both types of writing. Then we will have a reference on the marking guide of correction regarding the exam paper. At the end of the lesson, students supposed to revise some steps of writing informative text, since we have the informative writing before. Then we will analyze ready-made text with marking reference regarding both informative writing and email and letters. We will have a procedure of writing informal letters and emails. Let's start together. We will try to highlight some of the important things related to the informative writing which we have taken in a previous lesson. Look at this screen and try to revise the content together. Informative texts are provided to tell information about a certain topic, and we said that those kind of information should be factual pieces in which we don't practice giving our own opinion. We will have here, or in the previous lesson also, we talk about the language needed is direct and simple to indicate the informative type of writing. There is no need to just express different kind of sentences. We may focus on the present simple and the past simple, since we said that the grammar or the grammatical rule will be a cocktail of different rules. We may have present tense or past tense according to the topic that we are talking about. The organization is required according to its group. Whenever we talk about the informative writing, we have some different organizations. As we said before, we may have ideas which serve the same topic sentence or serve the same goal. So we have to grow these ideas in informative writing just to show the connection between different pieces of information. Paragraphs should include topic sentence. As you can see, we may focus on the paragraphs. If we want to classify the informative text to different level of paragraphs, we have to include topic sentence as a main idea, and then we try to explain the topic sentence using some supporting sentences, some paraphrased sentences to explain more, but then include some different examples to support your ideas. The layout consists of introduction. There should be an introduction. It might be one sentence or more. We have the body, and we talk about the body. We may have 2 paragraphs or 3 paragraphs or even more if we have a good limit of words. But since we are talking about, as we said before, 100 words, the 3 paragraphs or 3 main ideas will be enough. 3 paragraphs in the body and the closing remark, which is the conclusion. We can close the topic or the writing using one sentence, as we said in the beginning. Introduction, 1 sentence or more, and the conclusion, 1 sentence or more, according to the topic you are talking about and the number of words given to be reflected. In exams, we need to have a limit of 100 words, so we have to prepare ourselves just to have that limit. It might be 120 words and so on, but don't make them less, because that will cause will bring you little marks. So be careful. And also writing more than 100, make sure that you are in exam and you have a limited hours. So be careful not wasting your time writing more than the limit of words you have. Let's have a practice here. Topic number 1. We have here exam question. The capital city, write about the capital city of Palestine, not less than 100 words. Your writing should be well organized and interesting. How can we write an exam text related to the outlines or remarks that we presented before? Look at here. We will try to have a map. As you can see here, this is the map of, I choose the Al-Quds. I choose the Al-Quds. You may choose some other cities, of course. And here you have the map. And also we have to plan our writing before we start writing the paragraph. We try to have some different ideas just to make. We will talk about history as topic sentence, prophets as topic number 2, topic sentence 2, and famous buildings as a topic sentence in paragraph number 3. Each item here we got the history, and we have to answer. We will answer the questions when, where, and what, just to make the connections. When it was built, Al-Quds, when it appeared to the world as Al-Quds, as a name, or any ancient buildings, who or which. We have here a remark about the prophets who lived in this area of the world. Here we have some different names, and we may have more or additional information within the text. We will talk about some famous buildings like Al-Aqsa Mosque as a basic information. Of course, every student will manage his or her writing topic sentence. As we said, the body will include 3 paragraphs. 3 paragraphs. Each paragraph will include 1 point. Here we have history, prophets, and famous buildings. Some other students may choose some different ideas, or you may choose another city or another area of Palestine, so you can discuss many different points. This is my plan. So we got 3 paragraphs. Paragraph number 1 will talk about history. Paragraph number 2 will talk about prophets. And paragraph number 3 will talk about famous buildings in Al-Quds. Let's move on. Here we have the main parts or the layout that we have to focus in. We said that our informative text should include 3 main paragraphs or 3 main parts, which are the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. We said we may include 1 sentence in the introduction part, or we may add more. It should be a hook, an attractive title or attractive sentence that let the readers more interested to read about your topic. Then the topic, step number 2, will move to the body part, in which we plan to have 3 paragraphs. Paragraph will talk about the history, paragraph number 2 will talk about prophets, and paragraph number 3 will talk about some famous buildings in this area. The conclusion also will include 1 sentence, or you might have more. Since we are talking about 100 words, these elements will be enough to finish or to cover this kind of this limit of words. Look at the text here. Here is the hook or the attractive sentence, which is Al-Quds is one of the famous cities all over the world. This is introduction. Now we need to we finish the introductory part. This is part number 1, as we explained first. This is part number 1. We need to check the body. Now, we need to talk about the 3 paragraphs or the topic sentences that we plan in the layout. We have to talk about the history, prophets, and famous buildings. It is a city that is considered holy in many different religions: Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. The city was built more than 5,000 years ago. It had many names through its history, like Beit al-Maqdis, Al-Quds, Orushalim, and Jebus. So these are some different names for Al-Quds. This is the first paragraph. So we are talking about the body. And as we said, in the body we will have 3 main ideas. This is the history, number 1. Look at number 2. Many prophets lived in this holy area. For example, Prophet Muhammad, Ibrahim, Yusuf, Yaqub, and Lut, peace be upon all of them. All of them were commanded by Allah to spread the message of Islam to different nations. And this is the second idea, which talk about prophets. And you can see it appears in different color. Here you have it. Topic sentence 2 starts with color green. Topic sentence. Then we have some supporting details and examples. Okay, paragraph number 3 supposed to talk about some famous buildings in Al-Quds. Here we have third paragraph, which is Al-Quds is mostly famous for Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Dome of the Rock. It was built in the 7th century by Adam, peace be upon him. It plays very important role in Islamic culture and the 3rd holy directions that Muslims travel to. So this is the paragraph number 3. This is topic sentence, and here we have supporting sentences laced with examples. Now, we need to have a conclusion to close the text, to say that we came to the end of this informative text. All in all, look at the phrase that starts with this paragraph. All in all, Al-Quds is a very important place that gathered many historical sites and religious values. And as we said, the conclusion should be about what we have mentioned in the previous parts of the text. It is clear that it refers to the introduction. Al-Quds is one of the famous cities all over the world, an important place that gathered many historical sites and religious values. So we can say it brought those historical sites and religious values, place some fame expressions or fame features for this his historical place. So we are referring to the same idea using some different words, paraphrasing and summarizing the main points that we have. If you don't want to paraphrase the first one, you may summarize the ideas that you have in the 3 paragraphs in the body part. You say the topic sentences and try to make them shorter to cover the number of the words. As I said before, it is all right to add some additional sentences in the introduction and in the conclusion, but it is preferable to have short or 1 sentence for each, just to make the body, the most important part of the text, is bigger and cover some main ideas, give some important points about the same topic. Okay? Now let's move to the second task, which is the emails and letters, which is the main task we have for today's lesson. What do you know about emails and letters? What are emails and letters? Actually, emails and letters are communicative types of writing which provide an authentic written words, styles of communication we can send, or they are very popular all over the world and can be used for different purposes. You can see emails and letters are both important, and we normally hear about those two types of writing within our friends, organizations, companies, and different things. We can refer to applications, having jobs, sending a letter or an email for a member of a family or an important person just to apply for a job or to complain about something. So those are a kind of communicative text in which we communicate with different people to give them an idea about something or to inform them about something. So they are some of the important texts that we daily refer to, and we use them daily in our life, either to use spoken text in communication and such things. But what is the most special about these kind of communicative styles? They are written types. Now, why we are combining letters and email together? Because of course they have the same purpose. We mainly have letters and emails to communicate with another person or another company. Are they similar or are they different? Actually, they are similar in some ways, and they have some slight differences, and we will see how they are different and how they are similar. We have different kinds of emails and letters. Emails and letters have two main parts, which are, as you can see here in the second point, formal and informal. And we will see where to use the formal letters and emails and where to use informal letters and emails. Formal letters, both emails and letters are similar in the content. Informal letters and emails also are similar in the content. Look at the words. They are both emails and letters, different in the shape, the layout, but the content is the same if we are talking about the formal letters and email. And it is also the same if we are talking about informal letters and emails. Look at here. Of course, this table indicates both letters and emails. Let's see what is special about formal letters and emails. Why do we need to use formal letters and emails, and what are the main things that we need to talk about whenever we say or mention the word formal? We use academic writing. Whenever I talk a high level of language, I may use this to talk about some serious issues or to communicate with some important people, just to be aware, not doing mistakes, or to be much polite in using the academic writing to show or to provide a clear content about a certain issue. Form, as we said, can be placed for letters and email. Used to unfamiliar people who are not communicating with you daily. You are not facing them every day. So we use it with unfamiliar people, formal. Strange people or someone that you respect, like teacher or a boss. Someone who has a higher position or a level of job. Someone who is higher than your position. No slangs or collocations. We normally use some different slangs whenever we talk to our friends. Sometimes we have some different terms and different concepts that we know together. But if we mention these words or this kind of vocabulary, it won't be clear for those people, because they are not knowing us. And they don't communicate with us daily. So they don't have an experience about our style of speaking. So we don't use our daily slangs. We use academic writing. Complete sentences. The sentences should be clear and produce a kind of a good level of information. It should be in the passive voice. We are not necessary to say Sarah has done something. We say the window was broken, or the TV was not working, or the news was shown up, and such things. We use the passive sound. Latin verbs, we use the verbs without having combination with different phrasal verbs. Linking words, we have to connect the content to indicate the formality of subject. Compound sentences with phrases and clauses, we try to combine some different sentences together. Simple sentences combined in the same structure, just to make the writing more academic and purposeful. He, she, they in reference to readers. We are not say you. We don't use the word you. We use he, she, and they. Okay, if we are having informal letter and email, both informal letter and email, we use the non-academic writing, our daily language, the language that we use in our house, with our families, with our friends, a simple language, without having complicated sentences or complicated structures. We need just to be as if we are talking within our family's member. Used to familiar people, family or close friends. Informal letters and emails used for the members who are close to you. Family or close friends, either been friends or friends at school, you may use to communicate with them, use the emails and letters. Contractions, slang, and collocations. You may use some different short phrases. For example, instead of using the word you say you, using abbreviations, short form of words, simply because they know what do you mean by saying such expressions. Single words or phrases, fragments. You can use a language which is not focusing in grammar and such phrases. Active voice, you can refer to the subject of the sentence without having or facing any difficulty, just to make it as easy as you can. Phrasal verbs, you can say take off, cut down, and such things. Little use of conjunctions. You can use conjunctions, but not that much, just to combine if it is needed. Simple sentences, here you'll use simple sentences. It is not necessary to complicate yourself and use that much complicated language. Subject, verb, and object. You in reference to readers. See the difference here? They refer to he, she, they. If you are talking to the readers, talking to the one who is reading the message or reading the letter or email, you can say here, use the expression you. If you are using the academic style, you refer to the reader as he or she. Okay. Now look at the layout. Here we have a layout of a letter here in the screen. Actually, the email is not that much difference. You will see. Look at the part in the middle until the end. The email and letter are similar here. If we are talking about a formal letter and email, they are similar in this part. If we are talking about informal letters and email, they are also similar in this part. Where is the difference? The difference here, let me change the color. The difference is here. Where shall we put the address? This is very different in emails and letters. Here we have the shape of letters. It is written in the right side, and this is the sender information, the one who sent this letter or email. But for email, I change also the color. For emails, we write the address here for the sender and the receiver using this expression to, from, and the subject. So we can write here the information. The subject is the topic. What are we talking about? To and from the sender, the receiver, and from is the sender. But in letters, we write the address of the sender here, and we write the address of the receiver also, might be in the second side. But what is the most important here? The red square. The red square is the most important that we have 4, which is similar in both letters and emails. We have also to focus on the parts. Here we have your greetings should be displayed in the left chest band at the date. Here we have dear, dear Ahmed, dear Fatima, dear Sarah, and so on. Then we have a comma. We use this expression, a starting phrase in emails and letters. Then we will have an introductory part, which is greeting statement. We are talking about informal letter and email. Informal letters and emails. Say hi, hi Ahmed, hello, how are you, how is your family, and so on. Greetings. And this is what we normally do whenever, as Muslims and many other cultures, whenever we talk to someone or start to talk to someone, the first thing to be done is greeting. Say Assalamu alaikum, how are you, how is everything, how is your family, just to introduce yourself and to prepare yourself for the main topic. Then in the body part, you start to write the main topic. Why are you sending this email or letter? Of course, as I said, we are talking about the informal letter and email. Then when we finish, we have to mention this is the main body of the letter. And it is clear here, you can say this is the main part of the body. So we have a starting phrase, dear X. Then we have a greeting paragraph which says hello, hi, how are you, how is your family, to introduce yourself. Then after that we'll explain, or we will have the main content, the main topic that we have, which is considered as the body in any other type of writing. Then we'll have a closing phrase here. For example, to say write me soon, best wishes, or write me as soon as possible, and so on. You start to close or show that we are waiting to hear from you, and so on. The closing remark, and it is here, conclusion. We consider it as a conclusion again in the letters and emails. Then we have a closing phrase which says or express that we reach the end. Best wishes, my regards, yours sincerely, yours faithfully, and such. This is a closing sentence, which is where you sign off yours faithfully or yours sincerely if you are talking about the formal letters and emails. But as friends or family members, we may say with love, with respect, best wishes, and so on. Okay, and it is here. Then the last part will be the signature. If you are talking about the traditional type of letters, you may have your own signature, and nowadays there are some different electronic types of signatures. You may place them at the end of the email or letter. You may write here Amna, and this is the name of the sender, the one who sent the email or letter. Okay, dear Ahmed is the receiver, the one who is gonna to have or to read my letter. Those are the main parts of emails and letters. Here we got an example. Look at the screen. We start from the left side. This is the address. This is the address. Here is the address of an email. So this is email. And this is letter. Look at the two contents are the same. The content in the middle here in the body is the same, starting from dear Ahmed. and the topic and the closing remarks are the same in both emails and letters. So they are similar here, but they are different in this upper side. From Amira to Ahmed, the subject is exams behavior. And here we have OB box, the address of the sender. Here we write it in the right side. You see, dear Ahmed, and the topic here is the same. Best wishes, these are the closing remarks. Best wishes in both sides is the same. And here we have the one who sent this email, the writer's name, Amina, the writer's name. Look at here. Here we have two different topics, two different letters, which consider some difference. So this is the starting phrase, dear Marina. Then we have here the address. I write this letter with great hope that you are fine. This is the greeting paragraph. We are fine and we miss you. So this is how did she or this person start the letter. And we do the same for email, informal emails or letters. Where is the body? Here we got, I take this opportunity, dear Marion, to inform you that I shall be celebrating my 14th birthday. So this is the main topic. He is introducing the topic. So we started to have the body part. Look at the last part. I look forward to your coming. This is a closing statement, which is a conclusion. What are you expecting him to do? Then we have a closing phrase, your efficient friend, and the name of the writer. And we have the same in the left side. Look at the address. Okay, then we have dear Rohan, which is the one who is going to receive the letter. Look at the address. Here we have the date, the day, the number of street, the PO box, the name of city, whatever. So we write it here in this part. I couldn't believe my ears when your teacher called me yesterday and told me that you had been caught cheating on your board examination. This lady didn't start by hi or hello and how are you, and that reflects an emotional part which the lady refers to, that she was angry because of her son's behavior. Referring to the topic, of course, letters and emails are not writing only writing text. You may have writing reading text as email and letter, and there are some different related questions, just comprehension questions to check that you understood the text. You might be asked about the sender, the receiver, the topic of the letter or the email. Mainly you may have the topic of the email or letter at the beginning or at the first paragraph, but sometimes if you have the address of an email, you may have it in this side, the subject part, so you can refer to the topic, and you can check the sender and receiver from those places. Dear X is the receiver, and the closing remark or the name which comes at the bottom of the letter of the email will be the one who wrote the email or letter. Now let's have some additional information related to format of emails and letters. Fit with both emails and letters. Enjoy watching this video.
In this video, you'll learn how to format an email, including parts of the email, what to capitalize, where to leave spaces and empty lines, and how to do the optional signature block at the end. Here's an example of an email that's formatted correctly. Let's look at the parts of this email. First, we have the subject. The subject is like a short title that tells your reader what your email is about. Then we have the salutation, where you're saying hello to your recipient. In the body of the email, you write your message. Then you have your closing, where you sort of say goodbye. Then you have your electronic signature, which is your first and last name. And then at the bottom, sometimes there is an optional signature block. You don't need a signature block, but many people use them, and you might also want to have one. Let's now talk about what to capitalize in your email. First, let's talk about what to capitalize in your subject. We capitalize subjects like we capitalize a book title. But what do we capitalize in book titles? We capitalize the first word, the last word, and important words. How do we know if a word in a title or an email subject line is important? Nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs are important words in a title and should be capitalized. Here are some examples. People, like teacher, boy, and parent. Of course, there are many, many hundreds of other words that could be people. Places, 3 examples are school, city, and library. Things, like book, homework, idea. Actions, like run, ask, need, or help. Adjectives, like sick, easy, great. And adverbs, like not, very, and always. What about words that are not important and should not be capitalized? These include articles, conjunctions, or prepositions that are 3 letters or shorter, like these. And, but, by, for, or, in, if, out, of, off, so on, a, and the. These are examples that are used often, but of course there are many other words that are not important in titles and should not be capitalized. Now we've talked about what to capitalize in a subject. What about the salutation? In a salutation, capitalize the first word plus all nouns. Let's look at some other examples of email salutations. Here we have Dear Hiring Manager, Dear Professor Smith, Dear Board of Directors, Dear Mom and Dad, and Dear Sophia. There are 2 types of email salutations. The first 3 examples that we see here are formal salutations. At the end of a formal salutation, the punctuation you use is called a colon, or the 2 dots that you see used at the end of our first 3 examples. You need to use a formal email salutation when you're writing emails with job applications, emails to leaders in your company, school, or community, and emails to other people in higher positions. The other type of email salutation is an informal salutation, like the last 2 that you see here. At the end of an informal salutation, the punctuation you use is a comma. Informal salutations are used when you write to friends and family, people you see daily or often, and sometimes to teachers or professors. It depends on the culture and the relationship you have with the person, just as any email salutation does. So we've covered what to capitalize in the email subject and salutation. Now let's talk about the closing. In the closing, you capitalize only the first word. The second word in a closing should not be capitalized. Here are some examples of other email closings that are formal, professional, and will work in almost any situation. Best regards, sincerely, thank you, best, yours truly, and respectfully. Now we've reviewed capitalization, let's look at where we need to leave empty lines and spaces in your emails. First, leave an empty line after your salutation. Always leave empty lines between paragraphs. Leave 1 empty line before your closing and 1 empty line after your closing. Notice, you do not need an empty line or a comma after your electronic signature. Now let's talk about the optional signature block. The signature block contains contact information about the sender as well as information like the sender's website, YouTube channel, or other professional contact information. Here's example 1 with the name, email, website, and YouTube channel. Here's example 2. You have the person's name, phone number, position or job. Notice after the job you have the company, and between those 2 a comma. Finally, after that you have his mailing address at the bottom. Here we have example 3 that's very similar to example 2, except that the company name and the job or position appear on 2 different lines, so we don't need to separate them with a comma. Here we have example 4, a signature block of a university student, where you have the person's name, phone number, position, which is student, and his university. So now we've concluded our video on how to format an email. I hope that this video helped.
Okay. Did you enjoy the video? I hope it was beneficial or useful. Now we start or practice writing topic 2, letters and emails. Look at this. Write at least 100 words and this situation. Let's have the situation together. Sorry, it talks about an arrogant situations which appears in nowadays news. And the situation says, imagine that you are Salim or Sarah. Of course, if you are a boy, you choose the boy's name, and if you are a lady, you may choose the lady's name, or you may mix. You are a 16 years old teenager, and you want to help your friend in Palestine to overcome the humanistic situation after a big battle with enemy, and you prefer to hear from him or her. So this is the situation. You are sending this email to one of the brothers and sisters in Palestine, just to give him support, a humanistic support to overcome their current situation. What are you supposed to write about? Look at this part. Write an email to your friend Qasim. So what is the name of your friend? Qasim or Maha. Asking about the current events. So you start your email or letter asking about the current events. And then you will suggest some strategies for help. You will give him or her some suggestions in how to help them. How can you provide a hand of help for those people? Your writing should be clear and well organized. This is a writing exam. We have to consider, if you are Salim, you will write to Qasim. If you are Sarah, you will write to Maha. What are you supposed to write? You will write asking about the current events in Palestine, and you will suggest some different strategies to help. How can you help them? Okay? There are two important words. Your writing should be clear and well organized. How many words? They are 100 words. I guess you get an idea about the topic and you understood it now. If you are Salim, you will write to Qasim. If you are Sarah, you will write to Maha. Now, look at the text here. As we said before, there is a certain layout for letters and emails. No matter now to care about the shape or the format where to put address. If you want to do it, it's okay. If you didn't do it, that will not reduce the number of marks you have in this limit. You start in this part, the part which is similar in both emails and letters. As we said, we will have a starting closing, which is Dear X. Who is the one who is supposed to receive this email? Qasim or Maha. So we started Dear Qasim or Maha, then we have a comma. Now we will start our letter and email giving an introduction or greetings. How can we say greetings in letters and emails? Now let's see here. Hello Qasim or hello Maha, and how's your family? I hope that you and all other people in Palestine are fine. I heard about the recent fight that you had in your country, and I am really sorry and depressed. Okay, so this is the first part, which should be introduction for the topic, greetings, saying hello to someone. Then I will tell him or her the main topic, why I am sending this email or letter. I am sending this email just to ask you, or you can say, I'm sending this letter. You can't change this because you have the choice in exam to exchange between letters and emails. Just to ask you how I can help this pandemic or help in this pandemic situation. I knew that we are fighting together since we are all Muslims. If you can send some pictures, please do. I will share them globally to inform the world about the crimes and the bad deeds of the enemy. This is the first suggestion. Number one, I also will be happy if you send me address of charity accounts. This is number two. And emails, number three, to support them financially. I'm sure there are many homeless and many injured people. I will be happy to provide food for several days. So this is the fourth suggestion. Now we get some different suggestions from Salim or Sarah. Now we want to close the email and look at the purple sentence here. I want to close this email to reach the end. I am waiting to hear from you. Write for me as soon as possible. Then full stop. This is a closing sentence. And sorry, I didn't write here or make spaces between paragraphs because the screen doesn't, or the slides doesn't have much area to have those spaces. So this is the concluding sentence, and here we have the closing phrases. Best wishes, because it is informal letter and email, and then who is the sender? Who sent this email? Salim or Sarah. This is an email. Okay, now if I finish writing my email or letter, or even the first type of writing, I have to check my writing in different things: spelling, check grammar, check punctuation, and check cohesion, which is relation between the ideas. Are they related to each other? Does that refer to the main topic? Is it related to the topic or the question? And responses. Are you giving, did you start doing this writing? Did you start, or giving, even short sentences or short phrases will give you at least 1 or 2 marks. We'll do the same with the informative text. We'll check spelling, grammar, punctuation, cohesion, responses. You have 10 marks for the interaction. Emails and letter will have 10 marks, and you'll have 5 marks for the informative text. Please don't lose those marks, and try to prepare yourself having introduction before you come. You can find out introduction and conclusion before you come to the exam. You can memorize some different phrases to make yourself in the safe side, and to reduce the level of errors in spelling and grammar. The writing remarks, here we have 5 marks for the high level of writing, in which you have presents relevant information. You have so many information, provided some information, good level of information. This is regarding the informative type, in which we wrote about Al-Quds. Informative writing. So you will have 5 if you wrote a very good use of, if you have a very good use of details and examples. You're writing well structures, and you have good grammar, punctuation, good response, so you'll have 5. If you have some unrelevant information, you have some rare grammatical and spelling mistakes, you miss a kind of relation somehow, you might have 4 that limit, but you give a good idea about the topic, or provided enough information. When students will receive or have 0 whenever they have no attempts, you leave the question without any answer, or you have irrelevant answer. If your answer is not talking about the same topic, or you copied questions. If you copy the question statements or the instructions, you will have 0. So please be careful just to follow the procedure or the correction outlines. For writing number 2, the correction will be out of 10, not out of 5, and the marks will be doubled, as you can see here. 10 if you have a high level of writing, rare mistakes in spelling, punctuation, and grammar. If you have relevant information and coherent, is very clear in your writing. You supported your writing with examples and lots of information, that will be so nice. And even if you have 100, the limit of words, 100 words, that will let you take the full mark. But if you reduce the number of words, and that was much less than the number of words required, you may also lose marks for this. So you may have 2 if the message to the intended readers or is unclear. If you have a letter or an email which is not clear, writing fails to achieve its intended purposes. You didn't provide that message that we need to reach in your writing. Writing is incoherent and confusing, can't be understood. Then you will have, you at least have a response. You have a response, but your ideas are not clear. Students might have 0 if they didn't respond to the task, or they have irrelevant information they didn't write in the topic, or maybe memorized a topic which was written at home without having a connection between the topic and the ideas. This is the end of our lesson for today and for this season إن شاء الله. جزيل الشكر لكل من اهتم وشارك وتفاعل، ونعتذر عن كل تقصير سواء منا أو في الإعداد أو لم تصلكم الفكرة كما يجب. وفقكم الله وسدد الله خطاكم في امتحانات الفاينل. وجزيل الشكر لفريق درس على الهواء تخصص اللغة الإنجليزية، الأساتذة الكرام اللي شاركوني هذه الحلقة لهذا الفصل، أستاذ سمير، أستاذ عبد الله، وأستاذ سلطان. جزيل الشكر لكم. الشكر موصول للأستاذ يوسف اللي تابعنا وأشرف علينا. جزيل الشكر للجميع والجميع معلمين درس على الهواء. وفقكم الله وسدد خطاكم على الخير، وأدامكم ذخر لهذا الوطن ولأبنائه. إن شاء الله هي مسيرة نأمل أن تكون أيصلت الرسالة. كنا متطوعين، ونأمل أن وفينا هذا الواجب كما يجب، أدينا نداء الوطن. ونتمنى أنه يكون حصيلة البرنامج أو حصيلة هذا الأداء أو هذه التضحيات معطاءة على أوراق الامتحانات بإذن الله بالنسبة لطلابنا وطالباتنا في مقاعد الدراسة. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.